Abundance flows to me when I get out of my own way. Life is so easy when I focus on what is great. I am worthy of reciprocated energy. I am worthy of a love that loves as deep as me. I am worthy of aligning with my higher self. I am worthy of desiring miracles and
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Crazy Talk. In today's episode, I wanted to explore the more science background of what borderline personality disorder is. BPD is an emotional dysregulatory disorder, which basically means that we have a very difficult time regulating our emotions. It's a mental disorder characterized by unstable moods, behavior, and relationships. Now, borderline personality disorder is very, very easily misdiagnosed. I went through many diagnoses before I arrived on this one, but that's because it covers such a wide range of symptoms. And some of those symptoms include fear of abandonment, real or imaginary. Just want to specify that. Unstable relationships, unclear or shifting self-image, impulsive behavior, self-harm, extreme mood swings, chronic feelings of emptiness, and my favorite, explosive anger. After doing some research, I read that these symptoms tend to start showing up in your adolescence. And for me, I think I started showing symptoms around 12 or 13. So that's on spot. It's typically caused by childhood trauma. There is some beliefs that it is passed on and genetic. I think, and it's my personal opinion. I'm no scientist. Like, who the hell am I? Just from my personal experience, I don't think it's hereditary, but I think it can be more of a learned behavior. Because if you have your mother and your parental figures displaying these symptoms and they're teaching you how to, live in this world, you're thinking, this is it. This is how I'm supposed to act. So you're picking up those behaviors and you learn those patterns, and lo and behold, there's the connection. Grandmother, mother, daughter, son, everybody learns it. That's just my 2 cents on that. But it's mainly, they know after doing all these case studies, it's mainly due to childhood trauma. Okay, so let's kind of dive into these symptoms. So the first one I wanted to dive into is our unstable relationships. People with BPD have a tendency to do this thing called splitting. And that's it. I'm so glad that I found out what that was, because I honestly had no idea what I was doing. I thought I was justified, but because those feelings were so intensely, but in reality, it's not real. So what is splitting? Splitting is when it's basically, we see things in black and white. So when we're happy, we are freaking on cloud 9. So I'm gonna take my relationship, for instance. I love my partner with all my heart. And there is a baseline. My average day, I'm just like, normal. But then, like, if I'm I'm listening to Taylor Swift. That's my girl, and she puts me there a lot. So I'll be listening to Taylor Swift, and she's talking about, for instance, Paper Rings. That song, the first time I heard it, I got so high. I'm ready to go run off and get married right this second. I am so in love that I'm just like, I can't, it's hard to explain, but I'm on cloud freaking nine in love over a fucking song. And then 2 minutes later, when he doesn't answer my text or answer my call because I need something, I'm pissed the fuck off, and I'm like, this is why we shouldn't be together. This is why it's not going to work out. And that's that kind of black or white thinking. I turn all my memories into like negative things, and it's like I once was overjoyous about this man, and now immediately, in the matter of 2 seconds, I can't stand him. I want to leave. I feel trapped. I'm just like, I've been insane for staying this entire time. Yeah, I know. And literally, I'm not even exaggerating, in the matter of 2 seconds. Instantly. Like that. There is no, like, to me, there's no fear of abandonment in that moment. There's no other emotion but instant anger. And it's so intense. I don't have any good memory. I'm just like, I'm trapped. And that's with all my relationships. It's not just my partner. Bosses, work, sisters, brothers, my entire family. I got into an argument with my sister and blocked every single one of them. Blocked them all. Because in my mind, I'm valid and I'm right, because they just don't understand me. They're not getting it. They've always been rude. They've always hated me. And I may not have had the best relationship with my family, but that's absolutely not the case. There are always positive things that I could draw from, but in that splitting episode, I cannot. It's just all negative. So for me, that's the main reason for my unstable relationships. My instant ability to disconnect and cut people off. I guess you could say I would say that does also stem from my fear of abandonment, because, growing up, anytime I was in an argument, I got into an argument or disagreement with my family, I was shipped off. Mental hospitals, group homes, to other people's houses, every time. So, I learned to overcorrect, and I cut people off before they have a chance to leave me. That is still one of my biggest struggles. I'm working on it, but it's very, very, very difficult. I can't wait to share with you this upcoming episode where we actually discuss. I have someone coming onto the show who I had an episode with and just cut them out of my life. So make sure you follow me so you don't miss that episode. But yeah, so that's my experience with unstable relationships. I also want to say that I do want more people's stories. So if you have BPD, or if you know someone with BPD, or you can just relay, definitely drop your stories, or you can email me, message me. We could talk about it. I'd love to have you on the show, or I'd love to even just share your story and talk about it, and we could talk about coping mechanisms. together. So yeah, so now let's talk about that fear of abandonment. Um, I think I said before, like, these symptoms really tie into each other, and it's really true. Um, the fear of abandonment is really a very suppressed emotion for me. I almost never am thinking, oh God, like, I'm almost never aware of that. Now I can be, but like, that can mask as anger, sadness. It can mask as a lot of stuff, because you just suppress it. You don't just go talking about your abandonment issues. No one talks about that. That's a sign of weakness, and it's weird, right? Well, I say no. Now let's talk about that fear of abandonment. This fear of abandonment can have us doing some crazy, crazy shit. It can put us in dangerous situations, and have us in relationships we have no business being in. We tend to need attention and love, so we tend to become people pleasers and do anything and everything we can to make people stay, just because we don't want to be alone, just because we don't want to have to deal with the abandonment issues. But in reality, that causes so much more trauma to us as we keep letting that fear of abandonment take over our lives. Some people are hypersexual. You know, I was talking to someone and they just felt like sex was the only way they could communicate their love, and like they needed to do sex. They needed sex. They thought that would keep these men loving them. Which is sad. It's sad to hear that. That was never me. I've had the opposite view on sex, but I cannot imagine. Like I said earlier, I get mad and I leave people before they leave me. I act like I do not care, like I have no fucks to give. But then you can ask my fiance. You can ask Chris. I will be going on for weeks. It literally will take me weeks to get over that. I'll go on all day, every day, about how I cannot believe that person left me after I cut them off. But in my head, it's just like, they're just easily being like, okay, fuck it. So in my head, it's like they didn't care. But in reality, I shouldn't be blocking these people and telling them I don't want to speak to them again. You can't push people away and then be mad that they're not there. That is a very hard thing I have had to learn. I'm still learning it. Well, I'm still working on accepting that, I should say. I know it, but accepting it and practicing it is a totally different story. Okay, so the unstable sense of self. This can be seen as like, we often feel guilty or ashamed of ourselves. We view ourselves as a bad person. It can also be seen as just having no idea who the hell you are. You're often changing your goals, your opinions, your job, even your friends. But that more so ties into your unstable relationships, in my opinion. For me, I mean, I kind of have a mix of that. I did have a lot of issues with just feeling just unnecessary guilt. Anyone around me would tell you that I was constantly apologizing, and I would literally break down and cry if I felt like I wasn't doing enough, or good enough. I have went to like college like 4 different times. I have no idea. I never know what I want to do. One idea. I mean, but then there's so many great things, right? But then I just lose interest. And then I just think I want something else. And then I want something else. And then 2 weeks later, I want another thing. It's difficult not knowing who you are. But I'm going to give you a little tip here. I say kind of give in to those impulses. I know that, I mean, that may not be the best thing to say, but I mean, like, for me, I think being able to explore your interests is necessary. So there's nothing wrong with us having constant changes of our goals and ideas. If that's what you want to do, if you're not 100% satisfied, why not? I mean, it can be exhausting and it could be frustrating to others, but to each their own, right? Impulsive. Now this ties in with that changing the jobs and changing goals and all this stuff, because we're just so impulsive. I know for me, I have like the attention span of a squirrel. It's very, very difficult. And I see a shiny thing and my interest is over there. I have done a lot of things before I'm doing this. And some of them were successful, some of them were not. And that's okay. The point is I did it. I mean, I feel like as long as you're not hurting yourself or others, do whatever the hell you want, right? But also the impulsive can be negative as well. We lash out. We speak without thinking. It can impact our sexual health if you're just impulsively sleeping with any guy or girl that you meet. Our cash. I am horrible with it. Yeah. Now, the extreme mood swings. In Jennifer's story, she touched on this about how you can go from, happy to anxious, then depressed to like rage. The point is, you're feeling all these symptoms so fast, and so intensely. Like I know for me, I will be happy. I could be so happy, like I said earlier, in love. And then the next thing, at the drop of a pen, I'm enraged, I'm furious, I'm ready to pack my shit and go. And then I'm embarrassed because I did all that, which leads to a spiral depression. And then I feel guilty that I didn't do anything all day. But then, at the end of the night, I'm perfectly fucking fine. Nothing ever happened. Now, this is my biggest one. Explosive rage. Again, this ties into the other symptoms. It is so important to be mindful of how we're treating other people. Even though in the moment we can justify it all we want, you cannot treat people like shit and expect them to stay. It's that simple. Being able to control your anger is a vital tool for this journey. It was my most difficult one. It's my most difficult symptom to conquer. I'm still working on it, but I'd by far come up so far from where I was. Growing up, I used to be so angry I would punch holes in the wall. I would be fighting my brother, my mom, my grandmother. Um, Now, don't go in those comments judging me because I said that. I will give you a backstory in future episodes, but I am not a woman beater at all. I do not go hitting women. When we get triggered, we tend to explode. It's so intense. It's very, very hard to control. I've come so far from where I was, but it's still pushing it. Um, Especially these crazy ass drivers, man. I swear to God. The other day, I'm not gonna lie, I had to stop. I had to stop. I was going to cause an accident. And I'm laughing because, like, it's not funny, but it is. I wish I didn't let these people affect me so much, but people just piss me off so much. I swear to God, they do. They piss me off, bro. I can't even, oh my God. So let me give you the story. So we had a storm. The power was out, okay? And these lights were out on the road, but there was literally, no, there weren't stop signs yet, but the lights were out. So apparently these idiots think when the light's out, they don't have to follow traffic rules. Everybody knows that at an intersection, when the light is out, you treat it as a stop sign, correct? Or am I just delusional? Well, no. These people decided they were going to take up the entire fucking road. I'm feeling it again. I'm feeling it again. They decided they did not give a fuck about me, the people behind me, or the people on the other side. They was just going to sit. They weren't even going anywhere. They were sitting and blocking the middle of the road, okay? So I'm like, fuck, what am I supposed to do? So I'm waiting, and then this lady behind me decides, fuck me, and she zooms around me, like, because I was about to cut somebody off. Like, I had no choice. Y'all was being dicks, so I gotta cut somebody off. So I was gonna drive up and get up there, but she goes and cuts me off. So I'm like, oh, hell no! Bro, I was determined I was going to cut this bitch off. I was. So I drove up on the side of the road, and we were like this. We were literally like this. I was not letting her in. But then I had a moment. It was like, I can't do this. What I'm literally displaying road rage. I'm committing an illegal act. I'm literally on the side of the road trying to cut this girl off, okay? I'm enraged. I'm screaming in the car. I'm cussing at this woman. She can't hear me, but I'm just feeling it all. I'm horrid. And thank God, like, I had the sense. I mean, I did let it get to me, but I had the sense to stop before I got too far. I could have easily just wrecked us all. And we were both going to do it. When I tell you we was almost touching. I got full coverage, honey. I do not care. But that's not the whole point of that story is to display my rage. That is not normal. Even though in my mind it's justified. But that's the thing. We like to justify ourselves and tell ourselves we're not crazy. But that comes into accepting the BPD. You have to realize, like, this is a symptom of borderline personality disorder. I am displaying that symptom. This is not normal. And then we can kind of start to regulate ourselves again. So when I had that realization that I was in fact the problem in that situation, I stopped and I breathed and I waited till I could get back on that road. And I just went on about my day. But in that moment, I could have gotten into a car accident. I could have caught the charge. It could have been so much worse because I let my emotions get the best of me. So, how can we, now that we know these symptoms, I want to talk about a tool set, how we can stop this cycle, because that's exactly what it is. It's an endless cycle. So the first tool is to accept your diagnosis, and that's a powerful and hard tool. Hard thing to accept, because in a sense it's distorting your reality. It's telling you your reality is false. And I struggled with that forever because I think I said in an earlier episode, like, I constantly was fighting the need to be heard. I needed people to understand me. Like, I knew I was right. I was deeply hurt. Like, my pain was real. Why could you not see it? But that does not mean our actions are correct. When people tell us we are overreacting, we are, in fact, overreacting. Even no matter how much you justify it. That's the thing. That's what we do. We justify it. So, take a moment. If you are feeling angry, so once you accept that, you're already way ahead of where you were. It's such a far jump just accepting your diagnosis. Because then you can start to fix it. You can start to work on it and learn your patterns, which brings me to step 2, self-awareness. You need to know yourself, honey. Not knowing who you are, what you're doing, and what's going on in here is only going to prolong your success. It's just going to put it off, delay it. It's going to delay your success and your progress. So it's very important to stop diving into those relationships, take a moment, and be by yourself. I know it's scary, but you got this. And it's so important for your mental health. It's so important for your personal development. It's key, really, to know yourself. Once you know yourself, you can start to identify your triggers. You can start to identify your feelings and what's too much and what's normal and what's just a borderline. Borderline is where we want to be, just right on that line, average, flat. You don't want to be too high. You don't want to be too low. So recognizing when you're too high, you can control those impulses. It's okay that we get that high. Just don't follow up on those impulses. You just let it ride out in your head. But I like to turn up that Taylor Swift, and I just have a whole mini session in my head of crazy. I do. And it's good and it's healthy, because then I'm not bombarding other people with that. And nonsense is what it is. Because I don't feel that way 10 minutes later. So yeah, understand yourself, learn yourself. 3, set boundaries. Stop being a people pleaser. Okay? That is only throwing gas in the fire. You doing everything for everybody is only going to hurt you and fuel your fear of abandonment, because I know for me, at least, I expect me out of everybody, and that's not possible. That's just not possible. unless they have borderline personality disorder, but they're just feeling crazy with crazy. But so stop expecting you out of people. Learn to be okay with just yourself and learn to accept what people are offering. That's it. You can't change people. You can't be mad that they're not meeting your expectations for what you need. You cannot be mad that these people are not meeting your needs. Only you're responsible for that. And once you accept that, life changing. So don't wait for people. If you're like me and don't have that support, I said this in Jennifer's episode too. Do not wait for people. Just go do shit on your own. It's the most, for the first time in my 25 years, I went to a restaurant by myself. Oh my God, I'm 26. I need to go throw up. For the first time in my 26 years, am I 26? Yes, I am. And the first time in my 26 years, I went to a restaurant by myself. You don't know me yet, but that is a big, big deal. I used to not even be able to go up to the cafeteria at school by myself. So the more you do things and the more you explore yourself, the better you'll be. You'll get a sense of identity, which will then boost your confidence, which will then relieve your anxiety, which then relieves those crazy thoughts in your heads, which relieves your depressions, and which relieves your outbursts and your splitting episodes, which relieves your unstable relationship. You see how it all is just flowing? Now, I'm not pretending like I have it all. I am by far not there. But I am 1,000% better from where I was when I was 15, 16, 13. I have a house. I mean, I rent it, but I have it. I am engaged. I have been in a relationship for 4 years. I have been a stepdad for that same time, which we will dive into that in another episode. So the point is, I've been able to maintain a healthy relationship for 4 years, but I will say that is largely due to finding the right person because who has enough patience to deal with me, because I do still have episodes and I do still have my outbursts. But now instead of punching walls and stuff, I go for a drive. I listen to Taylor Swift. I put my headphones on and I blast her until I am in a happy mood, which has a 99.99% success rate. So that's my medicine that I recommend for you. It's just so upbeat and deep, so you can, feel good about those sad emotions you're feeling. Anyways, so that was the tip. I don't know right now. Yeah, I think that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed listening. I hope you enjoyed listening to me. If you did, please like and follow the podcast or the YouTube channel. And let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Bye, y'all.
Abundance flows to me when I get out of my own way. Life is so easy when I focus on what is great. I am worthy of reciprocated energy. I am worthy of a love that loves as deep as me. I am worthy of aligning with my higher self.